Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Shellz show. I'm your host, Shellz, and today we'll be discussing the NFC East. This is probably my favorite division in football for the last few years. It's quite a competitive division. I think it's probably as tight as it could be this year, and it's going to be quite a good division, I think, this year again, with quite a few different variables up in the air. But let's crack right into it. We're going to do predictions, each team breakdown, and then we're going to do the over-runners at the end. So, yeah, I do what we're going to do this video. Anyway, here are my predictions. Dallas is going to win. New York Giants will finish second. Washington third, Philadelphia fourth. I think it's pretty much gonna be the same as last year in a way. I can't see how it's gonna change. Let's go through Dallas first off. Dallas. Well, who saw last year coming for starters? Tony Romo goes down. Dak Prescott steps up and plays like a guy who's been in the league 10 years. He played with cool, calm, and collectedness like I've never seen a rookie quarterback play. Mr. as cool as ice. Brilliant season. Elite top five quarterback in my eyes after last season. I absolutely think he's unbelievable. I mean, I'd take him over Breeze, Roethlisberger. Who else am I going to take him over? I take him over a lot of people. I think I'm taking him top five. Maybe I'm not taking him over is or maybe it's not taking Dak Prescott over is Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Andrew Luck potentially probably. It's he's as good as they get, probably the best in the league in the next coming years. Ezekiel Elliott. Well, let's start with the obvious red flags. Ezekiel Elliott, 6-game suspension upheld today by Harold Henderson. Whoever the heck that guy is, he seems like a complete moron, whoever he is, like Roger Goodell, an absolute clown. I think Zeke will maximum serve 2 to 4 games. That's my thing. I don't think it matters. I think the Cowboys O-line is going to do the job. I'll mention on that in a second. Still got Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant's a top 5 wide receiver when he plays up to his potential, and I think he's going to be motivated to play. They don't just have Dez Bryant. They have guys like Cole Beasley, who became Dak's favorite target last season. Terrence Williams, he can play. They got Ryan Switzer, Noah Brown this year. Bryce Butler's played well in the preseason. All these guys coming through. And then, of course, the O-line. I mean, this is why I think the Zeke suspension isn't as big as anything else. They have an elite O-line. Tyron Smith, best left tackle in the league, in my opinion. So what they've done with Jonathan Cooper, they've turned him into the first-round talent that he was when he's coming out. He was picked 8th overall by the Arizona Cardinals. Travis Frederick's the best center in the league, the best guard in the league, and Zach Martin, in my opinion. I know Marshall Yanda is a class act, but he's nowhere near as good as Zach Martin. And at right tackle this year, they're even better at right tackle with La'el Collins. That guy is a beast. World class, best line in the league, hands down, no questions asked. It really comes down to how the defense plays, though, for Dallas this season. And this is my one area of concern for them. Now, they have a class linebacker in Sean Lee, who is a world class. But they've got a new defensive backfield. Now, this is kind of a risky situation throwing rookies out there. They have Orlando Scandrick back, but they lost Brandon Carr in free agency, they lost Maurice Claiborne in free agency. They're going to try and replace them with Awuzie from Colorado State. Or no, just Colorado, pardon me. And I think Jordan Lewis from Michigan. Now, those guys, how are they going to play with Scandrick? I'm not sure. They have Anthony Brown from last year who came on well, but got kind of the bigger, better receivers kind of took advantage of him. It'd be interesting to see how they gelled together. They got new safety starting. They lost JJ Wilcox and they lost Barry Church. I'm not sure their second starting, but I think Jeff Heath will probably be starting with Byron Jones back there. Interesting to see how those guys work. I'm not 100% sure it's the starting lineup, but it seems like that's what they'll roll with. Maybe Von Fraser might get in there for a few snaps. Might switch it up, but I'm not sure. D-line wise, they have a lot of suspensions, don't they? I mean, David Irvin, who came on last season, has been suspended. That's a big loss for them. They got Taco Charlton in the first round. I think he'll help their team with DeMarcus Lawrence. I think David Irvin is back week 4. They got guys coming back. I think Devontae Moore suspended. But they got guys like Charles Tapper from last year's draft. He missed all last year. They got guys coming through. I thought Stephen Pye was a sneakily good pickup. I think he'll be good. I think maybe Collins, the defensive tackle, can be really good. But, it's going to be interesting to see how these guys work. And, of course, Jalen Smith this year having to fill in early for Anthony Hitchens, who injured his knee. I'm not sure what he did. He did something like, it was a patella or something maybe. A slight strain on it. He's had 8 weeks. That's a big thing. How is Jalen Smith going to play? Is he ready for that limelight? Can he play a full game? I think we'll see very quickly, and I'll pull him into the fire very quickly. New York Giants. Right, let's start with these bad boys. Free agents, defensive players last year that they picked up. I mean, what a year they had. All of them played out of their minds. And I'm always subscribe to the theory kind of way that when players get paid, they don't play as well as they play in the last year of their contracts. They want to get another contract kind of thing. But, my concern is, will they be able to do it again? Can they play a second year back to back and be as good as they were last year round? I don't think they'll play as well as they played last year. Don't get me wrong, I think George Jenkins is a fantastic player. Olivier Vernon, a fantastic player. But my inkling is they won't play as well as they played this year. JP Peterson got paid. Is he going to play as well this season? Now that he's got like a 4-year contract. You've got Landon Collins coming up with a deal. Dominic Rodgers-Kamari's class. Eli Apple, first round pick last year. Interesting to see how they do. Offensive side of the thing, Eli Manning is past his prime. I cannot see him carry the Giants to a Super Bowl. He will literally require Odell Beckham Jr. making acrobatic every catch in the game to that. But they do have elite game-changing talent like Odell Beckham Jr. Odell Beckham Jr. is an elite, game-changing, game-deciding player. You could be down 7 with him with 4 seconds on the clock. You could run a quick slant to him and he could probably take it to the house. That's how talented this kid is. He's absolutely brilliant. But he no-showed against Green Bay in the playoffs when it mattered most. And that's a massive, massive concern for me this season. But on the other side of things, they do have Brandon Marshall this season. They have Sterling Shepard, and they also got their first round pick, Evan Ingram. I think that'll be intriguing how they integrate all 3 of those guys along with Odell. Obviously, my question to the defense, don't get me wrong, their defense is world class. I mean, JPP, Vernon, Norris Jenkins, Dominic Rodgers-Kamari, Landon Collins, Eli Apple, Damon Harrison. I mean, and in the draft, they had the guy Dalvin Tomlinson from Alabama. They got running back Will Gallman as well in the draft. And I think in the end, if they start Vereen at running back, they'll have a good job. But other than that, they need to start Vereen. Vereen has to start for them to be a good team this year, in my eyes. They don't have a running game. That's a big thing. And the O-line, well, that O-line is very, very shaky, isn't it? Eric Flowers, I mean, my God, that guy looks like Eric Flowers reminds me of a guy playing left tackle after he's had one too many pints, just a bit shaky, the footwork doesn't really work too well. And, there's question marks there. Washington. In my personal opinion, Kirk Cousins is massively overrated. He's a good to best quarterback. He's not a game changer. I take Andy Dawson over him. Now, a lot of people are going to be surprised with that. Not me. The reason why Cutler's got this big, huge, oh wow, look how good he is thing is because he's going to be a free agent in the season. And everyone, when it comes to free agents and quarterbacks, they overpay for these guys. It's ridiculous. Stop the overpaying of quarterbacks. It's retarded. Anyway, moving on from the quarterback position, think they've no running back. Robert Kelly, what? That guy's not good enough. Their best choice was Matt Jones. Matt Jones is going to be a good player for the Colts. They got a great pickup there. Not enough bad the team in the division. They lost DeSean Jackson and Pierre Garçon. That's 2 big threats. They had a wide receiver. DeSean Jackson really is a game-changing receiver in my eyes. That'll be a huge loss, and he really does, spread the defense. Those safeties are going to stick a little further back if they know DeSean Jackson's going to stick the burns on. Josh Doctson, their first-round pick from last season, is he healthy this season? Can he stay healthy? That's a big issue. They brought in Terrell Pryor. I think he's a very good signing. I'm surprised Cleveland did not keep him. I think Terrell Pryor can be a really good player. He's a great mismatch at 6'4", and he can run very quickly. They've 2 great tackles. I think in Trent Williams and Morgan Moses. I think their quality. I think Trent Williams is arguably nearly as good as Tyron Smith in my eyes. Class act, really good left tackle. Their defense, though, this is where they go wrong. I feel like Chris Baker is going to be a big loss in this season. I think they got Kerrigan still and Josh Norman. They're stars. They got Zach Brown to be picked up with linebacker. He could be a very good linebacker. He did a great year against the Patriots last year. I remember their first 2 first picks in this draft. Jonathan Allen from Alabama, the star defensive tackle, who I believe is in the Heisman voting. That's how good he was. And Ryan Anderson, 2 guys who were big parts of the Alabama defense the last 2 years. I think they'll be very good additions. I would like to see Brashad Breeland and Kendall Fuller step up for them. They definitely need that cornerback play to be above standard. Anyway, Philadelphia. This is a quote from Michael Lombardi. Everybody in the NFL knows Peters isn't the head coach. I absolutely 100% believe it. He's not good enough to be a head coach. I think sticking stubbornly to the Peterson principle is foolish. I think the Eagles kind of the owner kind of went back and he had Andy Reid there for so long. They saw Andy Reid's success in the Chiefs and we want that back now. But we can't get Andy Reid back, so let's pick up his assistant. It just doesn't work. He runs the exact same Andy Reid offense, but not as good as Andy Reid would run it, or even near as good as Andy Reid would. I think they gave up way too much to get Carson Wentz. That was an absolute. What were they thinking that decision? Going up to get him for the 2 was absolutely barbaric. I thought it was an absolute. You don't get a guy who's started 1 year and you jump that far up. They missed big time. They should have stayed there where they were, and I think they should have gone up and took your man, the guy, Florida State guy, Jalen Ramsey. That's my opinion. I think they should have gone up for that guy. New wide receiver this year, and Alshon Jeffrey, the new one, but they have a lot of unproven guys. Nelson Aguilar. I just not sure Nelson Aguilar. He came out of USC looking good, but he make the jump. Solid O-line as well. Jason Peters is world class. Lane Johnson's a pretty good right tackle. They got Brandon, can't think of his name now. It's completely gone from me. But yeah, they have a good right guard. I think Brandon Brooks, that's his name. Very good right guard from the Texans. They picked up last season in free agency. He's a quality operator. I think Kelsey. There was some talk about him on the trade block, but I think if he has a good year, you could some team will more than happy to pick him up. He's a pretty athletic player and he's an athletic center, and I think teams would be more than happy to pick him up. I think someone would give him a cheap deal and they probably outplay it. Anyway, defensive wise, I think the Eagles' defense is their strength. Really, when you look at the guys, they got Fletcher Cox, defensive tackle, Brandon Graham, Derek Barnett as their new first round draft pick. Jordan Hicks, I think a linebacker's a fantastic player. Michael Kendricks can play as well. They got Ronald Darby. What a great pickup Ronald Darby would be for them. I feel I was like they needed a number one cornerback. They got that. Malcolm Jenkins, not a bad free safety at all. Great playmakers. But one concern their free agency this season is LeGarrette Blount and Chris Long. They're not going to play as well as they did in New England. People buy this principle. These guys look, they would play in New England. They'll play as well as in here for our team. It just doesn't work that way. Belichick knows everything in the game. He basically makes players play better than they actually are. But yeah, I think that's not a good thing for them to happen. We'll see how it works. I just don't think Barnett's really the answer. I mean, dude, the Eagles cut Ryan Matthews. I mean, they wish they had DeMarco Murray back. Anyway, Sidney Jones actually is another guy I wanted to mention. He's coming back from Achilles. I believe he's on the PUP list. Maybe I don't care. Is he? He can be a very good cornerback, I feel. Washington product, played brilliantly last season. Unfortunately, towards Achilles, I believe, in the combine. It was unfortunate for him to do that or something. Maybe it was the final game. He's going to be out for a while, unfortunately, so he's a big loss to them. But I think he will be very good in years to come and a bright future for Phillies fans. Anyway, they're probably going to slate me for how I rank their team. But let's be honest, I'm just telling you guys the truth. Anyway, here are the over-unders this. Now, the Cowboys over-under was off the board on the side I checked. I've heard 10.5 and I've heard 9.5. My guess, what I'm going to set it at is 11 because I think 11 wins is right on the number what they're going to get. I think 11 wins is probably the most likely outcome they're going to get. Now, if it's 11 wins, I'm going to have to go over. I think they'll at least get 12. If it was 10.5, I'd go over. 10, I'd still go over. I still think the Cowboys won 12 games. I'm going to go with the over regardless of what the line is set. I don't think it'll be set higher than 11 anyway. I think it'll definitely be lower than that. But, they got to make sure they got betting over. Like, they want 50% bets on the over and 50% bets on the under so they don't lose too much. That's kind of the betting works. New York, 8.5 wins. This is a tough one. I think 8 to 9 wins is probably their ceiling. I'm going to go 9 wins based on the fact that they have Odell. He is injured at the moment, but I do think he'll be back week 1. I think their defense will win 3 or 4 games from this season. I think 5 games. Can Eli play 5 above average games? Yeah, probably. I mean, he probably will play ones. They'll probably beat Dallas once. That's an easy win. That'll probably be the one that gets them over 9. But they're an 8-8 team, really. But they'll get 1 extra win, I feel. And that's why I'm going to go with them. Washington, 7.5 wins. Gonna have to be the over and under in this one. Pardon me, under. They're not getting more than 7 wins. A lot of new pieces in Washington. That's an issue. I don't think they'll have the chemistry they had last season. Unfortunately, they're paying Kirk Cousins some ridiculous load of money. Was it $26 million or something like this season? Like, absolutely stupidity right now. They're not winning 7 games. They can win 7, definitely win 7. 6 to 7, I think, is their ceiling. Other than that, I think it's going to be a pretty tough year. Philadelphia Eagles, 8.5. Are you kidding me? 8.5. If the Eagles win 9 games this year, I will run down my street. Actually, no, I'll run down the street adjacent to my one, which is 2 miles long, naked. It's just not happening. Doug Peterson will be the first head coach fired. You heard it here first. I just cannot see winning. I cannot see the Eagles winning more than 5 games. 5 and 6 games is their max wins. Not going to happen. Sorry, Eagles fans. It's going to be a difficult year for you guys. Unfortunately, you just don't have the pieces in place, and that's unfortunate for you guys. You'll win 6 games, maybe 7. That's where the window closes for you guys. Unfortunately, that's life. But anyway, I'll wrap the video up here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy these type of videos, make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps me out, and I'll have more of these coming. I think I've pretty much got into doing light divisions. I'll have some more videos. I'll have a full over-under list of things and playoffs, predictions, and everything else along the way. But anyway, enjoy the rest of your night. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.